I'm Anil Kumar. Welcome to my series on providing solutions to Cambridge International Examinations. Most of the time, you see solutions of complete test papers. However, I've made a change here. I've clubbed similar kind of questions into one group and then provided you with solutions. Now, these solutions will help you to understand the complete topic and answer similar questions in future tests. So I hope that strategy helps. In case you have any doubts, you can always send me an email on the email address given here. We'll take up binomial expansions in this particular video. I'll discuss with you one of these very important questions which I have taken from past paper, which is find the coefficient of x in the expansion 2x minus 1 over x to the power of 5. Part 2 of this question is hence find coefficient of x in 1 plus 3x squared times 2x minus 1 over x. I found this to be one of the most difficult questions in this series of binomial expansions. Now, related questions which have come in previous test papers are kind of like this. Well, this is part 2, which we'll solve later. We had a question like this also. In the expansion 1 over ax plus 2ax squared to the power of 5, the coefficient of x is 5. Find the value of constant a. So this time we are given the coefficient, we need to find the binomial term, right? Well, to begin with, I'll actually take a much simpler question, which was there in 2017 test paper, very recent. The question was, the coefficients of x squared and x cubed in the expansion of 3 minus 2x to the power of 6 are a and b respectively. Find the value of a over b, 4 marks. Now that becomes a very basic question. Normally, within the first 2 or 3 questions, you will have one on binomial expansions. So this is indeed a very important topic. So let's begin with the formula itself. The binomial expansion of a plus b to the power of n is given as sum of a series where, we'll write in terms, general term, where r is equal to from 0 to n, NCR, which different ways are writing. So we'll adopt different ways as we move along, right? This is one way. A to the power of n minus r times b to the power of r, right? So in any binomial expansion, if the power is n, we'll have n plus 1 terms, right? 0 to n, that means n plus 1 terms. Now, r plus 1th term is this term, right? Now, let's look into the question. The coefficients of x squared and x cubed in this expansion are a and b. Well, so that is the general formula. So let me write down here a general formula, which we are going to use, right? Now, let's look into the solution. Okay, you have to always answer in black ink, right, within the space provided. However, I am going to deviate from there, provide you how to solve the equations rather than showing you exactly in the test paper how you should be doing. So you have to write in black ink within the space provided, right? So the solution, that is the general term. We are now looking for coefficients of x squared. So let's write down the general term for the question given to us, which is 3 minus 2x to the power of 6, right? That is what we are given. So general term could be written as, it is sum of r equals to 0 to 6, right? 6 is the exponent there. NCR, so n is 6, 6CR. A is 3 for us, so 3 to the power of n minus r. So n is 6, we'll write 6 minus r. minus 2x is the second term to the power of r. Clear? So that becomes our general expansion. We are looking for coefficients of x square. So from here, very clear, the coefficient of x square will be when r is equal to 2, right? So for r equals to 2, we get coefficient of x square, right? We are saying coefficient of x square is a. So we'll write this coefficient of x square, which is a, is equal to what? So we'll substitute r equals to 2 in this. Perfect. So we get here 6c2, 3 to the power of 6 minus 2 times minus 2 to the power of 2. So that becomes the coefficient. So I'm not writing x squared, right, since it is coefficient, right? So all other terms which comes before x. We can calculate this answer, right? So that minus 2 square will be positive. So we are expecting a positive value. So let's use our calculator to calculate. 6c2, right? So we have 6c2, right? 6c2 times 3 to the power of 4 times 3 to the power of 4 times minus 2 square, which is 4, right? So we'll do times, let's write minus 2 square equals to. So we get this term as 4860. Clear? So you can get this term. Now, to find the coefficient of x cube, we'll write r equals to 3 to get coefficient of x cube, which is given to us as b. So for 3, it will be 6c3, 3 to the power of 6 minus 3 minus 2 to the power of 3. Now minus 2 to the power of 3 is going to be negative. So remember that, right? So we'll put negative just to remind us of. Again, we'll figure out what this is. Because 6c3 times 3 to the power of 6 minus 3 is 3. So we'll do cube times minus 2 cube. And the answer is, as expected, negative 4320. Correct? So we have this. Calculator is allowed for this paper. We need to find the value of a over b, right? So a over b for us will be equal to, a is 4860 divided by negative, so it's negative 4320. So let's divide. So we have 4860 divided by 4320. That gives us 9 over 8. So we get this answer as minus 9 over 8. Correct? So that is how we can actually find these answers, right? So just for your reference, in case you want to calculate NCR values without calculator, let us say sometimes, if the question is without calculator, then remember NCR, and let me write R, right, is basically n factorial divided by R factorial times n minus R factorial. So you could use this formula also to calculate if you really want to do without calculator. Perfect. However, that is how we are going to do it. So I hope it's absolutely clear. Now let us take the next question. Here is the second question on this concept of binomial expansions. In the expansion 1 over ax plus 2ax squared, everything to the power of 5, the coefficient of x is 5. Find the value of a. So let's try to find the general term first. We have 1 over ax plus 2ax squared, everything to the power of 5. So the general expansion could be written as, it is sum of series where r goes from 0 to 5, right, to the power of 5. And then we have 5cr, right. First term, 1 over ax to the power of n, which is 5, minus r times 2ax squared to the power of r. Right? So that becomes a general term. So this is our general term, right? What are we looking for? We are looking for coefficient of 1, x, right? Okay, let's simplify this. We could write this as r equals to 0 to 5 cr. Now this is ax to the power of minus 5 plus r, and this we could write 2 to the power of r, a to the power of r, and x to the power of 2r. Now let's simplify this further. R equals to from 0 to 5 cr. A, so as far as a power is concerned, we have 2r minus 5, right? So a to the power of 2r minus 5. We have the term 2 to the power of r, and then we have x to the power of 2r plus r, 3r minus 5, correct? Now we want coefficient of x, right? That means what? That means 3r minus 5 should be equal to 1, right? So this means that 3r should be equal to 6, and that means r should be 6 by 3, which is 2. So we get the value of r, which is 2. So now coefficient of x for r equals to 2, we'll just substitute 2 here, right? And then equate it to 5, since we know the coefficient of x is 5. So we know coefficient of x is 5, and this 5 should be equal to what? So here we'll put r as 2, right? So it is 5c2 a to the power of, if I put r as 2, 4 minus 5 is minus 1, correct? Then we have 2 to the power of 2, and that is what we have, right? That's the coefficient, right? So this is for r equals to 2, right? Now we need to find what a is. So that means the value of a, this is 1 over a, right? So value of a will be equal to 5c2, so a goes this side, right, times 2 square is 4 times 4 over 5. That is what a is. So let's calculate, right? So it is 5c2 times 4 divided by 5 equals to 8. So we get the value of a as 8, right? So our answer here is a should be equal to 8. Is that clear, right? So that is how we are going to solve it. Now let's take the next example. Now here is the last question of this video. It is in 2 parts. Find the coefficient of x in the expansion 2x minus 1 over x to the power of 5. Hence find the coefficient of x in 1 plus 3x squared times 2x minus 1 over x to the power of 5. Right? So that is the question for you. You can always pause the video, answer this question, and then look into my suggestions. So let's follow the method which we have learned so far. So we'll begin with writing the general term for 2x minus 1 over x to the power of 5, right? Which is the general term will be r equals to 0 to 5. Now NCR could also be written as 5CR, right? So these are different ways of writing the combination. And the term here, 2x to the power of n, which is 5, minus r. The other term is minus 1 over x to the power of r. Right? So this could be written in general as r equals to 0 to 5. So we have 5CR. 2 to the power of 5 minus r x to the power of 5 minus r. Now this is minus 1, right? So we have minus 1 to the power of r and x to the power of minus r. Right? This is in the denominator, minus r. So let's write the general term. Simplifying these, r equals to 0 to 5 cr, 2 to the power of, that's a constant, 5 minus r, minus 1, okay, minus 1 to the power of r, and x to the power of 5 minus r minus r, right? Or 5 minus 2r. Correct? Now, since we need coefficient of x, we need coefficient of x, right? So that means x to the power of 1, so coefficient of x. That means 5 minus 2r should be equal to 1. Correct? So this implies that 2r is equal to 5, we'll take it on this side, bring it here. So 5 minus 1, which is 4. So that implies that r is equals to 4 over 2, or r is equals to 2. Okay. Now, since we know r is 2, so if r equals to 2, then the coefficient is what? So in all this term, we'll put r equals to 2, right? So we have 5c2, 2 to the power of 5 minus 2, minus 1 to the power of 2. Clear? That is x. Right? You can check. 2 times 2 is 4, 5 minus 4 is 1. Right? So that is what it is. So which is equal to 5c2, 2 to the power of 3, and that is plus 1. Correct? So it is 8 times 10, which is 80. Is it okay? Or you could use your calculator and calculate. So we have 5c2 times 2 cube, which is 8, and 8 times 10 is 80, right? So that's how you get your answer. Is that clear to you? So we know that the coefficient of x in this particular term is 80, right? So let's move on now and do question number 2, part 2 of this question. So in part 2, the question is, hence find the coefficient of x in 1 plus 3x squared times 2x minus 1 over x to the power of 5. Well, let's see. In part 1, we found that r equals to 2 gives us the coefficient for x, right, which is 80. So 80 is the coefficient of x. And also see that the general term was this, x to the power of 5 minus 2r. Do you see that? So we'll now try to understand how to relate the solution with our first part. Correct? So let's look into this expression. We're actually multiplying 1 plus 3x squared with 2x minus 1 over x to the power of 5. We are looking for coefficient of x, right? So this is the understanding part. We are looking for coefficient of x. Now, how do you get coefficient of x? So one way is that we multiply this term by something. So this has got 6 terms here, right? So basically we have something like this. We have 1 plus 3x squared times, there are 6 terms here, right? So say one term, second term, third term. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and there are 6 terms in it. Clear? So when you multiply, in that case, how do you get x? This is what you need to understand. Correct? We just found that the third term, where r is equal to 2, right? 0, 1, and 2. So when you multiply that term here, you get x, right? This term was 80x. right? Now what are we looking for? We are looking for another term which should be multiplied with this, and you can get x if I get something x to the power of minus 1. You understand? So we are looking for a term here which will give us the coefficient of x to the power of minus 1. Correct? So that will be important for us. That can be multiplied by 3x square. Then we can add and get the coefficient of x. Is that concept clear? Perfect. So with this concept, let's move forward. So again, we'll get to the general term. So let's find again the general term for 2x minus 1 over x to the power of 5. Correct? So we wrote this as 5 CR 2x to the power of 5 minus r 2x 5 minus r times you can write minus x to the power of minus 1 to the power of r. Correct? So combining this, we got the general term as 5CR 2 to the power of 5 minus r, and x to the power of, we have negative 1 also, we'll multiply by negative 1 to the power of r separately. Okay, x to the power of 5 minus r, which is 5 minus 2r. Correct? Now we are looking for coefficient of x minus 1, right? So coefficient of x to the power of minus 1. That basically means that 5 minus 2r should be minus 1. Is that concept clear, right? So bringing it together, we get 5 plus 1 equals to 2r, and that gives you 6 divided by 2, which is 3, is the value of r. So coefficient of x to the power minus 1 is when r is equal to 3. Is that clear to you? Correct? Then we get x to the power of minus r. So let's find the coefficient of x to the power of minus 1, which is when r equals to 3, right? So that will be, if we have 5c3 2 to the power of 5 minus 3 minus 1 to the power of 3, right? Which is equal to 5c3 2 to the power of 5 minus 3 square, and that is negative, right? So we have negative number here. Okay. So let's figure this out. So we have 5c3 times 4, which is 40, negative 40. Clear? So that is the other term, negative 40, which is for r equals to 3, right? So r equals to 0, 1, 2, 3. So this term, basically, we get this term as minus 40 x to the power of minus 1. Do you get the idea? So when we are looking for the coefficients to be x, the other term to be multiplied is this. Do you get that? So what we get here is our solution, which could be now written as, so that is the explanation part, which I hope is absolutely clear. So now what we could do here is, we could do 1 plus 3x square times, so there are so many other terms, so let's forget about those two terms. We'll multiply with 80x minus 40 to the power x to minus 1 plus other terms. Is it clear to you? So what we get here is 1 times 80x, which is 80x, and 3x squared times minus 40 x to the power of minus 1, which is minus 120x, right? So that is what we get. Perfect. So now you could take away, and then you get minus 40x as your answer, right? 12 minus 8. So the coefficient, hence find the coefficient of x. So our answer will be, so that gives you the answer, which is coefficient of x is minus 40. Is that clear to you? So that is how you are going to get the solution. So I hope the concept is absolutely clear, right? So important thing is, out of these 6 terms of the expansion, one will have x to the power minus 1. When you multiply these terms with the binomial given, we'll get the term which will have x in it. And if you combine those, we get one term which has the required answer, the coefficient of x. I hope that helps. Feel free to write your comments, share your views, and if you like and subscribe to my videos, it'll be great. I'll also provide you with links on this playlist on binomial expansions to master the solutions of similar questions. I hope that helps. Thank you and all the best.